pocket change, and forgotten collections. And a few have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. In today's video, we're counting down 5 rare, extremely valuable, and hardest to find pennies every collector should know about. Make sure you looked at an old wheat penny and wondered if it might be hiding a life-changing secret? Many collectors pass over worn, damaged coins every single day because they assume those coins have no value. Yet history has shown that unusual mistakes, rare die varieties, and distinctive minting defects can turn an ordinary-looking cent into one of the most exciting discoveries in American numismatics. That is exactly why today's first coin deserves a closer look. We are talking about the 1926 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with no mint mark, a large date, and an impressive lamination damage that created a long cut-like line running beside the left side of Abraham Lincoln's portrait.
At first glance, someone unfamiliar with rare coins might think the coin was simply damaged after leaving the mint. Experienced collectors, however, know there is a major difference between ordinary damage and a genuine mint-made planchet defect. The story begins nearly 2 decades after the Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909. The wheat penny had already become one of the most recognized coins in America. It honored President Abraham Lincoln, the nation's 16th president, and replaced the Indian head cent. Victor David Brenner designed the coin with a detailed portrait of Lincoln on the front, while the reverse displayed 2 wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. The simple yet elegant design quickly became an American classic, and millions of people carried these pennies every day without realizing that some dates would later become highly collectible. The year 1926 was an interesting time in American history. The country was enjoying the Roaring Twenties, industries were expanding, automobiles were becoming increasingly common, and the United States Mint was producing large quantities of coins to meet growing demand. Philadelphia struck the cents without a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco produced coins bearing their respective mint marks. Since the Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on Lincoln cents during that era, collectors identify those coins simply by the absence of any mint mark below the date. Millions of 1926 Lincoln cents were produced in Philadelphia, but mintage alone never tells the whole story. Most of those coins entered circulation immediately. They bought newspapers, groceries, train tickets, candy, and everyday necessities. As the decades passed, many were worn smooth, lost, melted, or damaged beyond recognition. Finding attractive survivors today has become increasingly difficult, especially examples that display genuine mint-made errors instead of post-mint damage. One of the most fascinating production problems involves lamination errors. Before a coin is struck, the mint prepares metal strips that are rolled to the proper thickness. Circular blanks are punched from those strips and later struck into coins. Occasionally, impurities, gas pockets, or imperfections remain inside the metal during manufacturing. When the coin is struck, part of the surface may separate or peel away, creating what specialists call a lamination error. Unlike scratches caused after circulation, a true lamination flaw originates inside the metal itself before the striking process. This makes such pieces especially interesting to collectors because the defect occurred during the mint's production process. Imagine examining a 1926 wheat penny under bright lighting. Along the left side of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, a dramatic, elongated lamination stretches across the surface like a deep cut. The metal appears lifted and uneven, creating texture that immediately catches the eye. The defect follows the natural contours of the coin instead of cutting sharply through the design as a post-mint scratch would. Under magnification, specialists can often see torn metal layers and irregular edges that confirm the error originated before the coin left the mint. Authentication is essential because many damaged coins are mistakenly advertised as rare mint errors. Professional grading services carefully examine the metal flow, strike characteristics, and surface texture to determine whether the lamination is genuine. If certified as an authentic mint-made lamination error, collector interest can increase dramatically, especially when the defect is unusually large, visually dramatic, and paired with a desirable early wheat cent date. The large date style on this 1926 cent adds another layer of discussion among collectors who enjoy studying subtle differences in numerals. Even small variations in date appearance can attract attention when combined with a significant mint error. Although the date itself is not among the famous varieties like the celebrated doubled dies of other years, collectors appreciate examples where every digit remains bold despite decades of circulation. Condition plays an enormous role in determining value. A coin described as being in rare circulated condition may still display considerable wear while retaining strong details in Lincoln's hair, beard, coat, and the wheat ears on the reverse. If the legends remain readable, the rims are complete, and the lamination error is both dramatic and unquestionably genuine, demand can be surprisingly strong. Error collectors often prefer visually impressive pieces because they stand out in competitive collections and educational displays. The reverse of the coin deserves just as much attention as the obverse. The wheat ears symbolize America's agricultural strength, framing the denomination with elegant balance. On well-preserved examples, individual wheat kernels remain visible despite circulation. The inscriptions E pluribus unum across the top and United States of America around the center continue to reflect the craftsmanship that made the wheat penny one of the most beloved coin designs in American history. Collectors frequently search through old family collections, estate sales, bank rolls, flea markets, and inherited coin jars hoping to uncover overlooked treasures. Most 1926 Philadelphia cents are worth only modest premiums in circulated grades, but an authenticated mint-made lamination error transforms the conversation entirely. Instead of being viewed as ordinary pocket change, the coin becomes a fascinating production mistake with its own story to tell. Auction houses know that exceptional error coins generate excitement because every piece is unique. Unlike standard coins struck from normal dies, no two major lamination errors develop in exactly the same way. The length, depth, shape, and position of the defect create an individual fingerprint for each coin. This uniqueness encourages spirited bidding whenever an especially attractive example appears in a major numismatic sale. If an extraordinary 1926 Philadelphia Lincoln Wheat cent displayed a spectacular lamination running beside Lincoln's portrait, retained strong remaining detail, received authentication from a respected grading service, and possessed excellent eye appeal, today's specialized auction market could see competitive bidding reaching approximately $528,500. That figure would represent an exceptional, one-of-a-kind specimen with remarkable visual impact, certified authenticity, and intense demand from advanced error coin collectors rather than an ordinary circulated 1926 cent. Stories like this remind collectors that rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes rarity comes from an unusual event during the minting process that affected only a tiny number of coins. Those accidental moments, preserved in metal for nearly a century, continue to fascinate collectors because they offer a direct glimpse into the manufacturing history of the United States Mint. Every authentic lamination error tells a different story, and every certified example adds another chapter to the remarkable history of America's beloved Lincoln Wheat Penny. The next coin proves that even a well-known Lincoln Wheat Penny can become the center of attention when unusual characteristics, collector demand, and exceptional rarity come together. This is the 1955 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with a Denver mint mark, described as a large date error coin in circulated dirty condition. At first glance, many people would overlook a coin like this because of its worn appearance and dark surfaces. Yet experienced collectors know that some of the most valuable coins ever sold have shown years of honest circulation. What matters most is whether the coin possesses a genuine mint-made rarity that separates it from the millions of ordinary cents struck during the same year. By 1955, the Lincoln Wheat cent had already been part of American commerce for nearly half a century. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin had become one of the most recognized pieces of American currency. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a dignified portrait of President Lincoln facing to the right. Above his portrait appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," while Liberty is positioned to the left and the date appears to the right. On Denver Mint coins, the small D mint mark sits beneath the date, identifying the facility where the coin was struck. The reverse carries the famous wheat ears design, with two graceful stalks surrounding the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Across the upper rim appears E pluribus unum, completing one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. Although this design remained largely unchanged for 50 years, every production year developed its own story, and collectors continue to study these coins in remarkable detail. The year 1955 is especially famous in the numismatic world because of the legendary doubled die. Lincoln cent struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That famous variety has captured headlines for decades, causing many collectors to examine every 1955 wheat penny they encounter. While the celebrated doubled die carries no mint mark, this increased attention has also led collectors to closely inspect Denver issues for unusual striking characteristics, die errors, plancher flaws, repunched mint marks, and other legitimate mint varieties. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents during 1955 to satisfy the nation's demand for small change. Most entered circulation immediately and spent decades changing hands in grocery stores, restaurants, gas stations, and neighborhood businesses. Because these coins were used daily, the majority became heavily worn, stained, scratched, or discolored. Many examples today display the dark brown or dirty appearance that naturally develops after decades of circulation and environmental exposure. A circulated dirty condition should never cause a collector to dismiss a coin automatically. In fact, many important discoveries have been made among worn collections inherited from family members or found inside forgotten jars. Dirt, oxidation, and age may hide important details until careful examination under proper lighting reveals characteristics that make the coin special. Collectors describing this coin as a large date error focus attention on the bold appearance of the numerals and the possibility that a genuine mint-made striking or die variety is present. Every suspected error requires professional verification because ordinary circulation damage can sometimes resemble a rare minting mistake. Specialists study the lettering, numerals, mint mark, strike pressure, die characteristics, and metal flow to determine whether the unusual appearance originated during production at the United States Mint. The small Denver Mint mark itself becomes an important point of examination. Experts carefully inspect its shape, position, and relationship to the date. On authentic mint varieties, the mint mark should display characteristics consistent with the production methods used during the mid-1950s. Any unusual placement or evidence of die preparation may significantly increase collector interest if confirmed by respected grading services. One reason collectors remain fascinated by wheat pennies is the enormous number of die combinations used throughout production. Working dies gradually wore out and were replaced, creating subtle differences between coins struck at different times during the year. While most of these differences are minor, an occasional mistake during die preparation or striking produced coins that later became highly desirable collectibles. Examining the portrait of Abraham Lincoln under magnification reveals remarkable artistry even on circulated examples. His hair, forehead, ear, cheek, bow tie, and coat continue to show Brenner's skill despite years of wear. Collectors appreciate coins that retain pleasing overall detail while also displaying an important mint-made error. A coin does not need to be perfect to become valuable. Sometimes a combination of moderate circulation, outstanding rarity, and certified authenticity is enough to attract determined bidders. The reverse deserves equal attention. Even on a well-circulated coin, traces of individual wheat grains often remain visible along both ears. The denomination stays bold, and the surrounding inscriptions continue to reflect the clean, balanced design that defined the wheat cent series until 1958. Collectors often evaluate strike quality by examining these details because weakly struck areas may provide clues about the production process. Authentication is the turning point for any potentially valuable error coin. Reputable grading companies use experienced specialists, advanced magnification, and detailed comparison with known varieties before assigning an attribution. Certification provides buyers with confidence that the coin is genuine and accurately described. In today's marketplace, certified error coins consistently attract stronger interest than uncertified examples because bidders can compete with greater confidence. The marketplace for Lincoln wheat errors has expanded significantly over the years. Serious collectors assemble specialized sets featuring striking errors, die varieties, plancher defects, and unusual minting mistakes. Because many advanced collectors seek unique pieces rather than ordinary examples, Exceptional error coins often generate spirited competition whenever they appear at public auction. Imagine a certified 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent displaying a dramatic authenticated mint error, attractive remaining detail despite circulation, and a naturally aged dark appearance that confirms decades of history. Such a coin would appeal not only to Lincoln cent specialists, but also to collectors who focus exclusively on United States mint errors. When multiple determined bidders pursue the same exceptional specimen, auction prices can climb far beyond ordinary catalog values. Market conditions also influence realized prices. During periods of strong collector demand, truly unusual certified error coins frequently outperform expectations because opportunities to purchase comparable examples are extremely limited. Collectors understand that another similar specimen may not appear for years, encouraging aggressive bidding among those determined to strengthen their collections. If this particular 1955 Lincoln Wheat cent possessed a rare authenticated mint-made error, exceptional eye appeal, strong certification from a respected grading service, and outstanding provenance through a major numismatic auction, it could command an extraordinary premium in today's specialized collector market. Under those exceptional circumstances, an elite example might realize approximately $567,800 at auction. That figure would apply only to a remarkable, fully authenticated rarity with characteristics far beyond those found on ordinary 1955 Lincoln cents. This remarkable coin reminds us that valuable discoveries often begin with careful observation rather than perfect condition. A dark circulated wheat penny may appear ordinary to most people, but to a knowledgeable collector, it represents an opportunity to uncover an important piece of American minting history. Every genuine error tells the story of a brief moment when something unexpected occurred inside the United States Mint, leaving behind a permanent record preserved in copper alloy. Decades later, those tiny production mistakes continue to inspire collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the world, proving that even the smallest 1-cent coin can become an unforgettable highlight of a world-class collection when rarity, authenticity, history, and collector demand come together. Next up, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat. 1 cent without a mint mark looks like an ordinary penny that has spent decades moving from one pocket to another. Most examples are common, but every experienced collector knows that a close inspection can reveal important details that separate an ordinary coin from one that attracts serious bidding. While a normal circulated example is usually worth only a small premium over face value, exceptional preserved coins or authenticated rare error varieties can command dramatically higher prices. That is exactly why collectors still search through old jars, estate collections, and inherited coin albums hoping to discover something special. The 1942 Lincoln Wheat cent was produced during one of the most important periods in American history. The United States had entered World War II, and factories across the country were shifting their focus towards supporting the war effort. Even while the nation faced enormous challenges, the United States Mint continued producing Lincoln cents because they remained essential for everyday commerce. Millions of Americans used these pennies to buy groceries, newspapers, candy, and household necessities. Every coin that survived carries a small piece of that remarkable history. The Philadelphia Mint struck the 1942 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, following its long-standing tradition. Because there is no mint mark beneath the date, many beginners believe the coin is rare. In reality, the absence of a mint mark simply indicates that it was produced in Philadelphia. More than 657 million examples were minted there, making it one of the higher mintage wheat cents of the era. Even so, high mintage does not prevent individual coins from becoming desirable when they possess outstanding quality or an unusual mint error. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, created by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear near the lower edge of Lincoln's shoulder. Around the portrait, the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1942 complete the familiar design that has become one of America's most recognized coin designs. On the reverse, 2 elegant wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, while the national motto E pluribus unum appears across the top. Collectors pay close attention to the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, beard, coat, and the wheat stalks. Even in fine circulated condition, these details help determine the coin's overall grade and desirability. A coin that retains stronger detail with less wear often commands more attention than one with heavy circulation damage. One feature that many enthusiasts discuss is the so-called large date appearance. Although the 1942 issue is not officially divided into major large date and small date varieties in the same way as some other Lincoln cents, differences in strike strength, die wear, and the appearance of numerals can make certain examples look bolder. Collectors always rely on recognized variety references before paying premiums for any claimed date style. Another important factor is the original bronze composition. The 1942 Lincoln cent was struck from an alloy consisting primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. This gives the coin its familiar reddish-brown appearance when new. After decades of circulation, many examples develop rich brown surfaces, chocolate tones, or attractive natural patina that experienced collectors often appreciate. Errors are another reason these coins continue attracting attention. While most 1942 cents are normal, a small number exhibit interesting minting mistakes. Collectors search for off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, clipped planchets, broad strikes, lamination errors, repunched mint-related characteristics on other mint issues, and dramatic double strikes. A genuine authenticated mint error can increase collector demand significantly, especially when the error is visually impressive and well-preserved. Among all possibilities, dramatic off-center strikes are particularly popular because the mistake is immediately visible. If the date remains fully readable, while a large portion of the design is missing due to an off-center strike, collectors often compete aggressively for such examples. Likewise, broad-struck coins lacking a normal raised rim can become valuable depending on their overall eye appeal and certification. Condition remains one of the biggest factors affecting value. A circulated fine example generally trades for only a modest premium over face value. Extremely fine coins bring higher prices, while mint state coins with original red color can become much more desirable. Certified examples graded at the highest levels are especially sought after because very few survive with virtually flawless surfaces after more than 80 years. Professional grading services provide confidence to buyers by verifying authenticity, grading the condition, and identifying legitimate mint errors or recognized varieties. Collectors are often willing to pay stronger prices for certified coins because the uncertainty surrounding authenticity and condition has been greatly reduced. Auction history shows that exceptional Lincoln cents regularly outperform ordinary examples. When a coin combines outstanding preservation, eye appeal, rarity, and certified authenticity, competitive bidding can push prices far beyond standard catalog values. Every auction reminds collectors that quality is often more important than sheer age. Many people inherit old jars of pennies from parents or grandparents without realizing that careful examination can reveal collectible pieces. While most coins remain common, experienced searchers know that patience is rewarded. Looking carefully under good lighting, using magnification, and comparing details with trusted references are all essential steps before deciding whether a coin deserves professional evaluation. That is why the 1942 Lincoln Wheat cent continues to fascinate collectors today. It connects American history, classic coin design, and the excitement of discovering hidden varieties in one affordable series. Even though ordinary circulated examples are common, the possibility of finding a remarkable error or an unusually well-preserved survivor keeps collectors searching year after year. Next up, the 1956 D. Abraham Lincoln Wheat. 1 cent is another coin that many collectors and everyday Americans have handled without giving it a second thought. At first glance, a circulated example with dirt, dark toning, and years of wear may seem like nothing more than an old penny. However, experienced collectors understand that appearances can be deceiving. Every coin deserves a careful inspection, because a hidden variety, an authentic mint error, or an unusually well-preserved strike can completely change its desirability in the numismatic marketplace. While an ordinary circulated 1956 D cent is generally worth only a modest premium over face value, exceptional certified examples and genuine major mint errors can bring much stronger prices at auction. The year 1956 marked an exciting period in the history of the Lincoln Wheat cent series. America was enjoying rapid economic growth during the post-war era. New neighborhoods, highways, automobiles, and businesses were appearing across the country, and billions of coins were needed to support everyday commerce. The Denver Mint worked around the clock producing Lincoln cents that would soon enter circulation through banks, stores, vending machines, and cash registers throughout the western United States. The small D mint mark beneath the date tells collectors that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. During 1956, the Denver facility produced well over 1 billion Lincoln Wheat cents, making it one of the largest annual mintages of the Wheat Cent series. Because so many were struck, ordinary circulated examples remain common today. Nevertheless, collectors continue searching through old collections because rarity is not always determined by mintage alone. Condition, eye appeal, certified quality, and unusual minting errors can all influence collector demand. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's timeless portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. Above Lincoln appears the familiar inscription, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word "Liberty," while the date 1956 and the small D mint mark appear to the right. Brenner's initials, VDB, remain visible near Lincoln's shoulder, a detail appreciated by collectors who enjoy studying every element of the design. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat reverse that had been used since 1909. Two graceful wheat ears frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. At the top is the national motto E pluribus unum. This reverse design remained in production until 1958, making the 1956 D1 of the final wheat cents before the Lincoln Memorial reverse replaced it in 1959. Many collectors refer to certain 1956 cents as having a bold or large-looking date because of die characteristics or strike appearance. While the official recognized varieties are limited, specialists carefully compare the numerals, lettering, and spacing using trusted reference guides. Small differences caused by die wear or polishing can sometimes create interesting collectible die varieties, although they are not always recognized as separate major varieties. A circulated coin often develops natural brown surfaces after decades of use. Dirt, oxidation, and environmental exposure may darken the color considerably. Surprisingly, experienced collectors do not automatically reject a dark coin. If the surfaces remain original and have not been harshly cleaned, natural toning is often preferred over an improperly cleaned coin with bright but damaged surfaces. Originality remains one of the most important qualities in modern numismatics. Collectors also pay close attention to strike quality. Although billions were produced, not every 1956 D cent was struck with equal sharpness. Some display strong details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat, while others show softer features due to worn dies or lower striking pressure. Reverse details, especially the wheat grains and lettering, are equally important when determining overall quality. The excitement surrounding the 1956 D Lincoln Wheat Cent grows whenever collectors discuss mint errors. Genuine off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, lamination errors, struck-through errors, and dramatic double strikes are all highly collectible when authenticated by respected grading services. These errors occurred during the minting process and are very different from ordinary damage caused after the coin entered circulation. One mistake many beginners make is confusing circulation damage with genuine mint errors. Scratches, dents, corrosion, stains, drilled holes, and environmental damage usually reduce value rather than increase it. Successful collectors learn to distinguish true mint-made characteristics from damage that occurred years later. Knowledge and patience often save collectors from making expensive mistakes. Professional certification plays an important role in today's market. Companies such as PCGS and NGC evaluate authenticity, assign an official grade, and identify recognized mint errors or varieties. Certified coins generally inspire greater confidence among buyers because experts have already examined the piece carefully. This confidence often translates into stronger auction bidding. Most circulated 1956 D Lincoln Wheat cents remain affordable for beginning collectors.
However, exceptionally preserved mint state examples with vibrant original red color can bring significantly higher prices than ordinary brown circulated coins. The finest certified examples are much scarcer than many people expect because few coins survive decades without wear, discoloration, or handling marks. Auction results consistently demonstrate that eye appeal matters. Two coins with the same technical grade can realize very different prices depending on luster, color, strike quality, and overall attractiveness. Collectors often compete more aggressively for coins that display exceptional originality and pleasing surfaces. Although stories sometimes circulate online claiming that every old wheat cent is worth a fortune, experienced numismatists know the truth is more nuanced. The majority of circulated 1956 D cents have modest values, while only extraordinary examples with elite grades, significant mint errors, or remarkable provenance command substantial premiums. Careful research, authentication, and realistic expectations are essential before assuming any coin is highly valuable. Even so, the thrill of searching never disappears. Every roll of old pennies, every inherited coin album, and every forgotten jar in an attic carries the possibility of revealing an overlooked treasure. That excitement is one of the reasons the Lincoln Wheat Cent series remains among the most popular collecting specialties in the United States. For collectors, the 1956 D Lincoln Wheat 1 cent represents more than just a piece of copper alloy. It represents American history, skilled engraving, mass production at the Denver Mint, and the enduring excitement of the hunt. While ordinary circulated examples are common, the search for beautifully preserved survivors and authentic mint error coins keeps collectors returning to this classic series generation after generation. Next up, a 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Cent begins its story during the final chapter of the famous Wheat Penny series. By 1958, the United States Mint had been producing Lincoln Wheat Cents for nearly 50 years, and millions of Americans handled these coins every day without giving them a second thought. Today, however, collectors know that even a common-looking wheat cent deserves a closer inspection, because a tiny detail, an unusual mint error,